Nobody likes to be overloaded, unless of course it involves chocolate. As an educator, we especially don't want to cognitively overload our students. So how do learning designers use user experience design to reduce the risk? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, Bianca Raby here, career educator and now CEO of an edtech company called Raby. Unfortunately, although there may have well been rapid changes to the world we live in, our bodies and brains are still very much the same as they've always been. We are not computers, and therefore our brains don't act like them. We are susceptible to all sorts of strains and stresses. Cognitive overload is just one, but one that educators need to be the most aware of when designing experiences. So what is cognitive overload? Cognitive overload is when an individual's cognitive resources are overwhelmed by the amount or complexity of information they are processing. It occurs when a person is exposed to an excessive amount of information, tasks, or stimuli that surpass their capacity to effectively handle or process them. It's this feeling. Sweller's cognitive load theory groups cognitive overload into three categories. 1. Intrinsic load. This is the inherent difficulty and complexity of the information being learned. 2. Extraneous load. This is where all the distracting and irrelevant information comes in. 3. Germane load. This is the processing, construction, and automation of schemes to create frameworks for future understanding. When does it happen? Cognitive overload can occur in various situations, such as when studying for exams, working on complex projects, or attempting to multitask. And of course, when engaging in an online course, especially if the device used to access this course is in itself causing distraction and providing temptation to multitask. What responsibility does the learning designer have in reducing cognitive load? Well, of course, we cannot do anything to stop the learner becoming distracted by their own device. That's on them. But we can do everything to make sure that when they do focus, they don't get stuck, frustrated, or blocked from the learning. We can do everything in our design power to reduce the risk of them throwing their hands in the air in desperation and turning to YouTube for the cutest cat video, which for the record comes under the category of extraneous cognitive load. How can great UX design help? Well, for a start, good UX design will focus on creating an engaging and effective learning environment by considering the needs, goals, and the behaviours of the learners. It will make things easier by design. Here are some of the elements of good UX. User-friendly interfaces. It needs to be intuitive and easy to navigate. For example, we often build hot links into homepages to help students navigate quickly to the information they would need regularly, like calendars or support information. Clear information architecture. Information should be logical and coherent. There shouldn't be instructions mixed in with teaching content, and the macro course structure should be visible to the students. For example, we often design course maps that we place at the beginning of each module to highlight where the student is at in the overall journey and further emphasize the structure. Visual design. There should be a consistent color palette, typography, and image style. For example, before building any course, we set up the style using the CSS and building in a few test pages with test imagery. We tweak and we get feedback before setting on a theme for the course. Then we stick to it. Responsive design. This means it's adaptable and consistent on multiple devices. To be honest, most leading edtech now has to be, or they will go out of business. As LDs, we just need to be aware not to design too horizontal, as it never really looks that great on a mobile and it gets all squished. Accessibility. Factors such as screen reader compatibility, text alternative for visuals, and keyboard navigation options. For example, we recently designed a data literacy course and needed to show learners what the graphs should look like. We didn't just add the image, we also ensured there was an answer sheet in Excel that they could download if a screen reader was needed. So what do you think? In regards to how UX can mitigate cognitive overload, what else have you seen work well? Or maybe it's easier to share what does not work. Regardless, drop your comments below and let me know. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. And in a related concept, check out this video about how not to fall into the edutainment trap when trying to engage learners. And join OPEDA's Learning Design Rocks community to meet and network with other teachers and LDs. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay awesome.